Hello, Mr. YouTube peoples. It's kind of late on Sunday night. Little time change going on, so feels a little bit later than it normally is. But it's only 9:30, which all you young people are like, "Hey, let's keep going," and I'm like, "Fuck you, let's go to sleep." I'm ready to go to bed, but uh, I needed to check in for a little bit since it's been kind of a weird week. I'm trying to get these done on Sunday. There's been a lot going on outside of my complex this week. They're redoing our decks and stuff, so it's kind of been complicated, hard to get recording while they're making a bunch of noise. So here I am, late Sunday night, trying to do this. So I guess it's a milestone. I don't know. I hit 10,500 words, a little bit more than that this week. So quite a bit over my goal. With pretty ease. Really writing only, well, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, quite a bit, and then Thursday and Friday, little bits here and there. So that was kind of cool. Got a lot written, got a lot done. A lot more than I normally do. And that felt good. I think coming back from my vacation, it was nice. It felt like I was writing stuff that was important and good, and that I liked. So usually that's a good sign. Um, I think I either said it in a blog post or last week. If I find that I'm hitting, I normally have a goal of about 8,000 words a week. If I am kind of going over that, then I will up my goal a little bit or kind of keep it the same, doing a little window approach to everything. So that I don't feel like I'm unaccomplished for the week. But this week was good. This week I wrote a lot, and it felt good. Still splitting between my two stories I have going on right now. The series that I'm working on called Path of the Chosen, and my more fantasy kind of fighting type. It's going to be a series. I came up with a sort of name for it. I don't know if I like it or not, but that's kind of up to me or you if you have opinions. Um, it's I came up with the name of The Gates of Antillion, and I feel like that kind of is cool to me because then I think of what are the Gates of Antillion? Where do they go from here? Because I don't have it mapped out. I don't necessarily know. And that's kind of fun for me. I like to be able to not guess, but think about it and think I have 6 or 7 or 8 chapters outlined. I have a little bit of a backstory, but where are they going? And what does this mean for my group of people? Uh, is Antillion the capital city? Is it something different? I don't know. And that's fun for me to kind of figure out. And it gives me motivation to keep going. So that's kind of the working name um, that I've come up with. And I'm going to come up with little ideas about it here and there. But this week I've kind of come up with a lot more of the backstory for some of my characters. And one of the things that I liked about writing this week was so in that story, uh, it is about two characters that are on a team, an arena team. This team in this arena, they battle with their magic against other people. So It's kind of to display their fighting ability, their magical ability, but also as kind of entertainment for this world. So I did not have a kind of succinct backstory in my head about who these characters were, where they come from, and what they did before. So I spent a good long while coming up with a chapter of probably like 3,500 words of what their first meeting, kind of, these two characters, they're a male and a female. And I was writing from the woman's perspective, Vivian. And when I've written about 3 chapters so far, and it sort of is complementary to each other. I really want them to have a back and forth between each other. They are the 2 main characters. It is not a one or the other. But I felt like I have not been doing Vivian enough justice. So this last chapter was predominantly about her and the backstory that she has. So that was nice to go into because I needed to know that more for myself. And I think it's good to have that moving forward for the reader to embrace who Vivian is, and then eventually talk about the backstory of Brillick, who is the other character, and then talk about a little bit more of the world going through these back history, the previous to the starting point of the story, which I'm always kind of hesitant about how that happens. I don't necessarily like having prologues of what happened before. I like to kind of get into it and then develop things as they go. So that's kind of where I was headed with this chapter. So moving on from that, I can move forward. So that's good. What else did I like about writing? Getting back to like some of the old characters that I've met and created for Path of the Chosen was nice. As I'm writing this, originally I started this out as like a kind of a young adult story, so someone between the ages of 10 and 14 probably could align to this a little bit more. But as I moved into like the end of the first book, beginning of the second, and entirety of the second, I realized that I don't do well lowering or trying to meet an expectation of an age or a reading level. So I started to kind of just write it how I would write any other book, but the characters are younger. And so now, as I'm writing into this third book, I can kind of press them a little bit more. I can show a little bit more that they are competent in the world, that they know what's going on, that they have intelligence and vision for themselves. And so that was fun to get back into and be able to write this. It felt like I was coming back to these old characters that I've known pretty well, and that I could establish more, which was a good thing for me, because I've felt a little bit like that some of the stuff that I'm writing is just empty, and I try not to do that, but I don't know, it just feels like it is sometimes. And most of the time, if that's the feeling that the writer is feeling, that's true, but I second guess myself a lot, and I question myself a lot. So that's also a thing that writers do. So, I don't necessarily have a grasp on it. That's usually what my wife is for, what some of my other family members are for, and other readers that I have lined up. but this is all kind of new still. They're still kind of perusing through book 2 as I'm writing book 3. So that was fun. That was nice. What else did I do this week? So I put out an issue of the Away Team on my website, and I posted it to Reddit. And I think it's got a few views, no real comments here or there, but it's something. It's a movement in the direction that I want to get into. I want to be able to record them. I need to find time to do that. And if I'm writing 10,500 words, that's probably a sign that I can stick to my 8,000 or so, 9,000, and have a day where I can record. And so maybe for some of the foreseeable future, I should take it back to 3 days a week and then record on one day and see what happens. That's going to get more views, more positive outcomes, hopefully. Yeah, so that's about it. That's what I've accomplished this week. Feels good. Feels good to be back, kind of in the saddle of writing. Let's see. That's about it. That's all I got. Next week, just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I sort of want to get back into writing Away Team, since I only have about 5 issues written and I have 30 or so in mind. I want to kind of get back into that world, and kind of do that and probably maybe develop a little bit more of my fantasy story. And it feels like Path of the Chosen, it's outlined pretty well, but it's also, I think I outlined like 36 chapters, and I think I said in my last video, I'm learning how to write slower, and so it's kind of pushing back and back and back and back to being more and more and more. So I guess that scares me a little bit, and I want to write little things here and there, so that I can have finished stuff. But, we'll see how the week goes. Anyway, that's about all I got. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next week.